Over the coming months, WTOP will be partnering with the Greater Washington Board of Trade and the Collaborative for Student Success on a series called Math That Works, where we will connect the dots between classroom learning and real-world careers, showing how investing in math and other technical and critical thinking skills today opens the door to opportunity across every sector in the DMV. I am joined today by Jack McDougall, President and CEO of the Greater Washington Board of Trade, as well as Jim Cowan, Executive Director, Collaborative for Student Success. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jack, I'd like to start with you. We have nearly 300,000 new jobs expected in the DMV by 2030, of course, many requiring technical skills. Will employers have the kind of candidates, the kind of applicants that they need to fill these positions?
Generally, I think yes, but we have a lot of work to do. And, job requirements and skill requirements are changing dramatically every day. But there are some core things that we need to make sure that candidates have as they're going out into the workforce. Math is one of them. And historically how we think about math is not what we're talking about now. We're talking about math from a perspective of problem solving and critical thinking. So it's a very different approach to doing that. And it doesn't matter what your career pathway is. If you're going into the trades, for example, if you're going to weld, if you're going to do high-tech welding in a chip fab or in a hospital facility, you need to understand pressure, you need to understand tolerances, and so a whole host of math skills are required to do almost every job out there today.
So you're saying get in on math at the ground floor and build a foundation that you can take in pretty much any direction.
Start early and keep working at it. And one of the things that Jim points out too is that there's this notion you're either good at math or not good at math, and I don't want to steal this away from you.
No, keep going.
But everybody's good at math. We just have to give people a chance. And so the earlier you start, and also too, especially for kids, it's like that movie, in the movie Big, when Tom Hanks goes into the kid's room and he tells him, about basketball scores. And he's like, that's math? It's like, yeah, that's math. Math is with us everywhere with everything that we do. And so you just, make it fun and compelling.
We've heard for a long time people saying, I don't need math, I have a calculator. Pretty soon it's going to be, I don't need math, I have AI. I want to get to that deeper in a moment, but I want to bring Jim in. Jim, we got some pretty bad news recently about the state of our students and math. Just how badly are we doing right now?
It's bad, and it's not just recently, it's been consistently bad. And I think what the issue is that this is beyond just instructional gaps that we're seeing for classes. It's now reaching the point of a crisis for the country around our mindset around math. And you touched on this a little bit, but we have joined with a group of experts in the field, including the Greater Washington Board of Trade, to offer some things that need to be done. We need to increase the amount of high-quality instructional materials, the good stuff that's evidence-based in the classroom that's provided to students. We need to increase the amount of professional learning for the teachers so they know how to better use those materials. We need to increase the actual time, the actual instructional time, so that kids are being exposed to this before school, during school, and after school. And then we have to automatically advance kids into the next advanced mathematical opportunity for them automatically when they've sort of shown that they actually deserve it and they've passed an objective test to get there. We need to hold the groups that are actually providing these instructional supports for districts and schools accountable, that they're actually doing what they're going to say that they're going to do. And then we got to increase the number of math coaches that are available for schools and districts and make sure we're getting all of that attention. That's the blocking and tackling around this, right? That's the very detailed element of it. It's the medicine, if you will. What this is about is the why. And I think that's where we're maybe falling down some nationally. And we have been for years. We're making it way too easy to ditch math, to say that it's too hard, it's not relevant to what I do. And lots of kids are going through their K through 12 experience with the notion of, I can't wait till I get through this so I never have to do this again. When what we really need to be talking about is, this is something that's going to give you power throughout your life, and it's really going to impact your career. So that's what we're really hoping to do with this Math That Works idea, is bring in the businesses that are actually needing these skills to talk about, you do need this problem solving ability. That's what we're going to be looking for, is can you do this? So we're excited about that.
Yeah, for both of you, you hear a stat like a majority of high school seniors are coming up short in this national report card test, and everyone collectively says, oh, that's too bad. But what's the real world implication of that?
The real world implication is that when you go to an interview and you are up against someone else who does have that critical skills ability, you're not going to get the job. And the statistics are showing that for more technical skills, for those who are good at math, you're talking about probably double the salary, the entry-level salary that you're going to earn. And as you go through your career, you're just going to continue to be behind. It's about your career, and that's why having the skills is so important. And we want to show the demand side of this, like why we really need to have this. Like, this is a superpower you can give to kids as they're going through. But it's important to do it early. It's tough. It becomes tougher and tougher as you go through K-12 to get kids to come back and get the concepts that they need to move forward.
Jack, why should we relate test scores to dollar signs, basically?
Yeah, well, I mean, it demonstrates a level of competence, and Jim's right. We've been seeing a downward trend in these issues, and it's one of the reasons why we're partnering with him and his team here, is that the business community has a responsibility to step up and articulate these needs even more clearly and forcefully than we might have in the past, as well as to then even engage. So for example, like Junior Achievement and its partnerships with the business community, the thousands of hours of volunteer work that's done to help kids develop basic financial skills and math skills is an example of more of the kind of things that we need to be doing here in partnerships.
Back to the juicy issue of AI. I imagine that technical skills and math skills are not that different than AI skills, right?
Well, I mean, it's funny. I mean, when I was I'm going back, I'll date myself. You weren't allowed to bring a calculator into your test with you, which is ridiculous. Because if you can demonstrate that you can do a calculation, that's what's the important part. And I was mentioning to Jim earlier, in the 4th grade, my daughter's school, they have to actually write out their rationale for an answer. So it's not just about showing your work. So math is progressing in the schools, and so just like with AI, you need to understand the basics so that you can understand what AI is doing or not doing, because it's just a tool. It's not going to do it for you.
Jim, you laid out a list of solutions for getting our hands around this math problem. You said it's about the why. I think you've established the why as to why we need to do this. My question is how? Is this just a mindset change? Is it a messaging thing, or is it a money thing?
I think this is one step in the way to do that. I think when parents see the potential for what it means for their kids in real dollars, in real careers, they will become more engaged with this. I think businesses, when they understand that they need to be involved more closely aligned with what's happening in classrooms, they will be pulled into that. But this is the demand side of this, of the how. I think it's important when you talk about the AI part of this. Everyone's worried about AI, but the great thing I keep hearing about, and you've said this too, that the only thing better than AI is someone who's really strong, who really knows how to use that tool. You're like, even if you're a creative designer or something that you would not consider a mathematical field, if you have that conceptual ability to understand mathematical concepts armed with AI, sky's the limit for you.
Who else needs to be a part of this conversation when it comes to collectively raising the bar?
Yeah, I think this needs to be a full circle thing. One, businesses. How are they doing this? We heard this week at a meeting that Jack and I were both at from someone from a large firm who had 173 interns and was deeply involved with the recruiting and hiring. And what they said was, because we asked them directly, like, how has it changed? What are the skills you're looking for? And it came up over and over again. We're looking for critical thinking. We're looking for people who understand how to set up a problem, how to solve a problem, how to struggle through a problem, because that's the skills that are going to continue to be necessary as we're looking at 10, 15 years down the road. It's too hard to pinpoint exactly what you're going to need. If we need X number of coders, we can try. But I think broadly, that's the capability that we're going to need. So businesses need to be there. Tech and innovation, we want to be talking to them. We want to talk to educators in the DMV, in Maryland and Virginia. And in DC. And I want to point out, DC has actually had some improvements around a lot of the blocking and tackling I talked about earlier. The mayor has made really good investments in professional learning, in providing those supports, and it's beginning to make a difference. It's not enough. You need a lot more of that. But we want to talk to them, like, how are you building on those gains that you're seeing in that right now?
Jack, what are your thoughts? You hear from businesses and schools all the time.
Yeah, I think that we need everybody to step up a little bit. So business leaders, elected officials, we need to hold our systems accountable for achieving what we need in math, even in entertainment and influencers and others. So people that kids are listening to need to reinforce these really positive messages that get out in front of math now. It will serve you well for your entire life and career. So it's everybody.
Any final thoughts to really sum this up for folks?
We're going to be working closely with you all and with the Greater Washington Board of Trade to try to encapsulate what kind of information are we talking about here? What are the things that we can share in the DMV? And so that'll be forthcoming as well. We're excited about that.
Well, I'd like to thank my guests, Jim Cowan, Executive Director for the Collaborative for Student Success, as well as Jack McDougall, President and CEO of the Greater Washington Board of Trade. For more information, visit WTOP.com and search Math That Works.